In our peaceful village, nestled among green fields and tall trees, lived a man named Kofi. His heart belonged to only one woman, his beloved wife, Amara. Their love was a story whispered by the gentle breeze, a bond as strong as the ancient baobab trees that watched over their home. They lived a simple life, their days filled with shared laughter and quiet moments of understanding. Kofi was a farmer, his hands calloused from working the earth, but his touch was always gentle when it came to Amara. Their home, a humble clay house, was a sanctuary of love and trust. But even the brightest sunlight can be overshadowed by a creeping darkness. There was another woman in the village, named Zola. Her eyes followed Kofi wherever he went, filled with a dangerous obsession. She saw the love he shared with Amara, not as something beautiful, but as an obstacle to her own desires. Zola believed Kofi was meant for her, and she was willing to do anything to have him. She watched them from the shadows, her heart twisting with envy. Every smile they shared, every tender glance, fueled her resolve. A dark plan began to form in her mind, a web of lies designed to tear apart the purest love the village had ever known. One sunny afternoon, while Kofi was tending to his crops far from the village, Zola put her wicked plan into motion. She crept to Kofi and Amara's home, her steps silent and deliberate. She found one of Kofi's shirts, left to dry in the sun. With a cruel smile, she took it and hurried to her own house. Later, she went to the village stream, a place where women often gathered. She tore the shirt slightly, smudged it with dirt, and began to cry, creating a scene for all to see. She held up the shirt, claiming it was proof of a secret affair. When Amara heard the whispers, her world tilted. The villagers, stirred by Zola's convincing performance, started to murmur. Amara's heart ached with confusion. She knew her husband, his loyalty, his unwavering love. Yet, the seed of doubt, planted by Zola's venomous words, began to sprout. Zola, seeing the pain in Amara's eyes, felt a twisted sense of victory. She approached Amara with false sympathy, telling more lies, painting a picture of betrayal so vivid that it began to feel real. Amara wanted to believe in Kofi, but the social pressure and Zola's cunning manipulation were a heavy burden. When Kofi returned from the fields, tired but happy, he was met not with Amara's warm embrace, but with a wall of silence and suspicion. He saw the doubt in the eyes of his neighbors and the deep, unfamiliar pain in Amara's face. When she confronted him, her voice trembling, Kofi was stunned. He denied everything, his voice filled with desperation and hurt. How could she, of all people, believe this? He looked at the torn shirt Zola was now showing to the village elders and realized the depth of the trap. He was being framed. The village elders called a meeting. The air was thick with tension. Zola stood before them, weaving a convincing tale of heartbreak and betrayal, using the shirt as her primary evidence. Kofi pleaded his case, his words honest and raw, but Zola's performance had swayed many. Amara sat in the crowd, her heart torn in two. She loved Kofi, but the evidence seemed undeniable. The elders, bound by tradition and the visible proof, declared Kofi guilty of breaking his marriage vows. The judgment was a heavy blow, not just to Kofi, but to the very foundation of their life together. Heartbroken and betrayed by his community, Kofi was forced to leave the village. Amara, though devastated, felt she had no choice but to let him go. As Kofi walked away, leaving behind his home, his land, and the woman he loved, he didn't see the triumphant smirk on Zola's face. His departure was her victory, but as days turned into weeks, Zola's victory felt hollow. She had gotten rid of Amara's husband, but Kofi's absence didn't bring him closer to her. The village was no longer a place of joy for Amara. It was a constant reminder of her loss. Meanwhile, a wise old woman in the village, a friend of Kofi's late mother, had been watching everything unfold. She had known Kofi since he was a boy and knew the integrity of his character. She didn't believe Zola's story for a moment. She saw the malice in Zola's eyes and decided to seek the truth. She began to observe Zola discreetly, noticing how she would often walk past Kofi's now empty farm, a strange mix of satisfaction and longing on her face. The old woman knew that evil deeds often leave a trail. One evening, the old woman visited a troubled Amara. She didn't offer empty words of comfort. Instead, she spoke of love and trust and the importance of looking beyond what the eyes see. She gently questioned the story, pointing out small inconsistencies in Zola's tale. She reminded Amara of the man Kofi was, not the man Zola accused him of being. "Look into your own heart, child," she said softly. "The truth is often quieter than the loudest lie." Her words were a flicker of light in Amara's darkness, rekindling a small flame of hope. Driven by the old woman's wisdom, Amara started to piece things together. She remembered Kofi telling her he'd be working on the far side of the mountain that day, a full day's walk away. How could he have been with Zola? Then, she remembered something else, the shirt. It was one she had mended herself, with a unique blue thread near the collar. She decided to find Zola and asked to see the shirt again, under the pretense of wanting to confirm the tear. Zola, confident in her deception, agreed. When Amara examined the shirt, her breath caught. The blue thread was gone. She realized Zola must have used a different shirt, one of Kofi's old ones he no longer wore. It was a small detail, but it was everything. At the same time, the wise old woman had her own breakthrough. She had followed Zola to a hidden spot by the river and found remnants of fabric, identical to Kofi's shirt, hastily buried in the mud. Zola had torn a piece off to make the damage look more authentic, but in her haste, she had left behind evidence of her deceit. Armed with the truth, Amara and the old woman called another meeting with the elders. This time, Amara stood tall, her voice clear and strong. She explained her discovery about the missing blue thread, presenting the shirt Zola had used as false evidence. Then, the old woman came forward with the fabric scraps she had found, proving Zola had deliberately damaged the shirt to frame Kofi. Faced with irrefutable proof, Zola's web of lies unraveled. Her face turned pale as the villagers looked at her, their suspicion turning to anger. The elders, seeing their grave mistake, were filled with remorse. They declared Kofi innocent and banished Zola from the village for her malicious deception. The community, humbled and ashamed, sent a messenger to find Kofi and bring him home. When Kofi returned, it was not to a village of accusers, but to a community ready to welcome him back with open arms. The most important welcome, however, came from Amara. As their eyes met, all the pain and doubt melted away, replaced by a love that had been tested by fire and emerged stronger, brighter, and more resilient than ever before. They embraced, a silent promise passing between them to never let anything or anyone come between them again. Their story became a legend in the village, a powerful reminder that truth is a light that can never be extinguished, and true love, built on a foundation of trust, can withstand any storm. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe for more stories.